Love, light, and blessings. Shamanic Arak Priestess here. And I wanted to make this video. So, like I had said in previous videos, I'm really trying to fit in content whenever I get a free moment. So it's really early in the morning before I start my workday. Just had a nice breakfast. And I wanted to make this video as part of a series that I had started previously, which was pretty much stories of a psychic hotline reader. And so this will be episode 2, and it's going to cover reading for others. Reading for others. So things that I've learned on my journey, especially when I first started, for those of you that don't know, as a psychic hotline reader. So I read for a psychic hotline for numerous years, and then eventually it will be 4 years this year, the same anniversary as my channel in June, that I created a website and went into full-time reading on my own. So yeah, so I've been doing this for 8 years on a professional level. But I have been into my path and everything else for the last 16 years. Okay, so what have I learned? One of the first things that I've learned when it comes to reading for others is right away which types of readings make me comfortable and which type of readings make me uncomfortable. And I've talked about this on other videos, which basically, what do you morally feel comfortable reading? For every reader, for every psychic, anyone who's wanting to read on a professional level, there are just certain things that we just may feel more comfortable reading about. For some people, they don't do third-party readings. I do. I'm okay with third-party readings. Third-party readings are when someone asks a question that's not about them, but it's about somebody that's not present in the reading. I have no issues with that. Some people do. Fortune telling. Are you going to predict the future? Can you actually predict the future? Is that something that you are comfortable doing? I am. Time frames. Some people don't like giving time frames. I don't mind that. I'm pretty much accurate with that. No one's 100%. Anybody tells you they're a liar. But I have a pretty good accuracy rate with that, okay? In the high 90s, okay? 95, 98% accurate. There's always that 1 or 2%, okay? Again, no one is perfect. Channeling the thoughts of others. I can actually do that. I've noticed that some readers cannot. But I can. But even when people can, they're like, is that appropriate? Is it appropriate for me to read somebody else's mind? For me, yes. Health readings. I always tell people I'm not a healthcare provider, but I have answered questions. Okay. But I always tell people, like, hey, go see your doctor, but this is what the spirits are telling me, okay? So on and so forth. I don't diagnose an illness. I don't do that, but I have given advice, so on and so forth. Some people don't like reading on curses. I have if the person who's asking me for a reading wants to know if they're cursed, I'll answer the question. Most of the time people aren't cursed, but it happens. And death. Death is the no-no for me. People have asked me, I'm like, yeah, I could see this person recovering, or there's going to be this and that, but like, when this person's going to die, please don't ask me that. It's just very uncomfortable. I don't do lottery numbers, okay? I don't like that. So, I don't like that. And I do general readings, but I prefer when people have specific questions in mind. Just because when I'm channeling the spirits, they're not gonna go with your questions. They're gonna go with what they think is more important. And then you might be like, damn, we didn't even touch on this area. Exactly. So ask your questions. It's better that way. The reading is focused on what you want to focus on. What else? Some people make it seem like you have no power over your life. even though there are some things that are destined, we always have some type of control, even if it's the way we react to certain things, so on and so forth. So even though I do believe in destiny, even though I believe that you can look into the future, so on and so forth, I always believe at the end of the day, we always have power. We have the power. So therefore, these types of readings are supposed to empower you so that you can have a heads up onto certain situations and then cater or create a space or a way that you're going to cope with certain situations, okay? First and foremost, most important of all the situations. Okay, so one, and I don't read for anyone under the age of 18. Now, if a parent's asking about the child, that's different. If a parent buys a reading for someone and the parent is present, that's different. But I'm talking about like a teenager booking me without the permission of their parents, or a parent being present or whatever. Not gonna do that. And I don't like reading for couples. I've recently realized that if someone's going to book a reading and you want to know if your partner's cheating on you, don't have that partner present in the reading, okay? That's uncomfortable. Also, like, sometimes your partner could be very distracting and there could be really important information that needs to come through, but I'm being distracted by your partner interfering or asking like other questions. Now, there is a couple, that's actually 3 couples, that I do read for while they're present together, and they're fine because they're very open. They know who they are, so don't email and be like, no, you never, no, you're different. If I read you in a couple, that means I'm comfortable with you. The couples that I speak about are if someone's like, I think someone's cheating on me, don't have that person present. Or if you're the cheater, don't have that person present, because then it's like I have to filter myself, right? Now, I have done intuitive counseling and readings for couples when they want to know, like, hey, you know, we're getting married, that kind of stuff. But again, if there's information that you don't want your partner to find out about, then maybe it's best that you don't have that person. For example, I was recently reading for someone, a client that I've had for years, and they started dating somebody, and the person was disrupting the reading, chiming in on the reading because they read like cards recreationally, and we're trying to dictate the reading, and I'm like, no, this is what the reading means and all this. Point blank period, my predictions came through, but it was very distracting for me, and I didn't get to finish the reading, and their time was up, and I had to go to my next appointment, and they were like, oh, we didn't really get to answer by the questions. Yes, because you had your partner present, disrupting the reading, being very disrespectful, trying to interpret the reading and manipulate the reading in the way that they wanted to, okay? And it's funny because I was predicting this couple, they were going to have issues, and they did. They're not even together anymore, but we're going to move on from that. And I have the permission of said client to talk about this story because I'm not using names, so just in case. I don't talk about your stuff unless you grant me permission to do so. Anyways, so they wanted me to tell this story as a cautionary tale because I was like, I'm going to make a video about like my experiences. Can you add the part of if you have someone who thinks they know everything and think that there's this expert reader or whatever, there were so many things I missed on our session because the person was too busy trying to like literally dictate the reading. That's why when I did the live stream, I asked that question, like, have this ever happened to you? Because that was really annoying. Everybody interprets things differently. They were just very book, so they're not psychic, they're more like academic reader, which is nice and everything, but the Two of Cups isn't going to mean the same thing all the time, or to that person, especially if they're channeling spirits or whatever. A lot of these meanings can vary depending on the question, the energies, and what the spirits say. Like, I read through spirits, I channel to spirits, so their interpretation of the messages might quite differ from what somebody wrote in the book. Just saying. So yeah. So I've just learned to be very confident. That's another thing in what the spirits are telling. Now, there's confidence and there's arrogance. If your heart of heart is telling you this is what you need to tell the client, then this is what you need to tell the client. And yes, there are clients that are going to argue with you and be like, no, that is not what that means. Blah, 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 blah. Because they don't like the messaging. Okay. I always say deliver the things with kindness, but you got to be honest. If that's what your guides are telling you, that's what it is. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Even if they don't like it. People don't always like our messages, but if they may it may take time, but when they go through every other reader and every other reader tells them what they want to hear, they're going to remember that you were the one person that was honest with them, and they'll come back. That also is There's also the other side of it. You have other readers that kind of put their own feelings into things. So they might not like the situation you're reading on or the person you're reading on, so they'll sit there and put their own judgment into things. And as readers, we don't have rights to do that. Like I don't have the right to judge your lifestyle or the person you're reading about, when this comes to love readings or family members or whatever. It is not my place to sit here and sit on this throne of judgment. And I've said this many times, give the damn reading, okay? This whole like better than thou, high vibration, lecturing people and making them feel bad, okay? That's not what I do. I treat people, I do have a degree in social work, so I guess maybe that's the social work side of me. And I used to also I have a degree in nursing too. When I was doing nursing, right? I have this very empathic side to myself. And I've been through a lot of things in my life. And I've been the one to, before I became a professional reader, I've actually read with a psychic. And I remember feeling bad when all she did was lecture me and never answered my question. All she simply had to say was, hey, I feel like this person's going to come back, but you're going to decide, and you may not believe me, that this is not the relationship you want anymore. I feel like you're going to kind of realize that you want to be by yourself. That is an honest reading, but it's a loving reading versus I don't know why you want to be with this person. They're a dog. I mean, they're cheating on you and you're sitting here crying about it. There's a difference. Same message, right? But there's a way you say things and there's a way you say things, right? Another thing that or one of the things that I've learned as well is that, how could I say this? Not every psychic reader or professional tarot reader is your friend. While I like to, and I have trained and I have mentored people through my classes who have either already had an existing business and they've been able to grow their channels. And no, I would not say who they are because I want them to have the credit for their hard work. I did not mentor them. I did not give them classes so that I can gloat and be like, oh, such and such who does cards on their channel. Yeah, I taught them how to have a business, how to do those spells, blah, blah, blah. No, that ain't the way we work up in here. So I don't need to feed my ego, right? I know who I am. So I've had some, like about 3 to 4 of my former students that have gone on to do professional readings, spell work for clients. I'm good with that because they learned from me. Their clients are having results. It's a beautiful thing. Most of my students really just want to build a relationship with the spirits for themselves. Some people have wanted to do it for themselves and also like, hey, I have this really raw talent of, divination and I'm a manifester and I just want to learn how to like enhance that so that I can be as a service to others and have that confidence. And that's what my classes are for. Like, yeah, do it, and everything like that. So, outside of my students and clients, you have people that would genuinely friend you because they're trying to grow a business, right? They don't want to like buy your classes. They don't want to book a reading with you. No, we're going to guise it in, oh, we're both YouTube people, or we're both working on the psychic hotline, or we're both in the same field, but their business isn't as, like, it isn't as successful. And they will legitimately friend you and have conversations with you so that you can give them free advice on how to do their business, okay? That has happened to me so many times. when I worked on the psychic hotline, when I first came on YouTube. I'm not gonna say any names, but I had about 5 different influencers. Is why I always say like I'm on the outcast, okay? Like I just on the cusp. I'm just kind of like on the outside, like and things like that. Like I don't follow any particular person, but I do have people that I admire, like Kelly Ann Maddox. I love her. She's an ally. She gives voices to marginalized people. Divination, she was on my free chat the other day. Uplift Herbs, I love ya. Things like that. Yeah, so I have people. I'm all about supporting smaller channels, is why I'm going to start a series on giving shout outs to certain channels that I have really been enjoying and all these things, which that's another video for another day. But yeah, so I try to be different. And yes, I've had a few people that have actually taken me under their wing and have taught me things. But I could count that in one hand. For the most part, I've had people that have tried to friend me to start their own businesses, okay? To enhance their businesses, to pretty much use my name, because from the first day that I started working the psychic hotline, and people that know me from then know I'm not lying, we had like a feature where it was like free chat where you talk for free and people will talk to you until they'll book your services in a private session. I was never on that free chat. Like I never learned to really engage with the audience because I was always in private. Like I was always doing readings, right? So I was a reader that made a lot of money for that site. A lot of people loved my services. They found my readings very accurate, so on and so forth. I even at one point went viral on social media. I don't know what site it is because I don't like looking up my stuff. I like people to be free to say whatever. So, but I've heard from other people because I was asked, oh, we found you on a certain website that we have where we rate psychics and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, cool. So that's how people were like really finding me, word of mouth. Even to this day, a lot of it is word of mouth. If you give good service, they're going to tell their grandmother, their mother, their uncle, their sister, their best friends, co-workers, so on and so forth. So word of mouth, very important way to advertise yourself, right? So with that being said, you know, make sure that you give a good service and make sure that you are protecting your spiritual based business and that you are using that same intuition, that same guidance that you provide for other people, right? That you are seeing who is really your friend. You will have people, and this happens to me a lot, okay, that will be readers themselves. And this is more when I was working on the psychic hotline, okay? They will friend you because they're having love problems, okay? They're having messy love problems. And instead of booking a capable reader to read on that situation, in the same way they have no problem charging other people for readings, they try to actually start a friendship with you so they can get free readings on that relationship. And then you're sitting there giving them this elaborate, intensive reading, this great reading, going all out. Predictions are coming through. You're helping them manifest. They knew I did spell work. And this is not just one person. This has happened to me on many occasions. And you're doing all these free spells, right? Because they're your friend and they're spiritual like you. And then when you need that same help, they're giving you the shittiest, shortest, crappy, generic reading. The reading sucks. The reading isn't accurate. They're not really doing any spell work. Like they're taking a tea light, they put a little oil on it, they light it up, and that's it. Meanwhile, you're going all out of your way. So I learned this going forward. Business and friendships are two separate things. Because this is the way that I make my living, just because you call yourself my friend, I will not give you a free reading. Just like anybody else, you will have to book a reading with me. And just like if I want a reading with you, I have a really good friend that I told them, hey, I have been reading about this, but I'm gonna be honest, I know that I'm manipulating this reading, right? I need somebody, and it was just like a question that I needed to know. You know what I did? I went on their website, said, what is your stuff? Paid the full price like any other thing, was punctual to my appointment, and had the reading. I was like, it confirms what I didn't want to accept. Because yes, sometimes as a reader, you might need to look for guidance on another reader, because guess what? We are human beings, okay? I have another person that I read with, same thing. Same thing. Okay? If I was to read with a blood relative, I would still pay them for their time because it is a job. My own child is like, Mom, here. Okay? And I'm like, no, you know what we do? You're a really accurate reader. I need to do, let's exchange your reading. But guess why I do that with my daughter? Because she's going to give me the same energy that I put into her reading, or she's going to do extra chores, or she's going to help me with something that I will pay somebody else for. So she's going to work it off or something like that, because she's learned how to appreciate people in the spiritual based business that provide a service, and she does not expect anything for free because she's seen how people have taken advantage of me. So I learned that very early on. This is, if you don't read professionally and you exchange things, that's fine. I'm talking about me personally. I've had people, knowing what I do for a living, wanting free stuff, okay? Wanting free stuff, trying to friend you, okay? And that's another thing, boundaries. I've had people that have read with me once, very rare, but it's happened, and try to get all these other questions. And then it's like, no, you have to, if you have further questions, you would have to book another session. Like, I don't read for free. Like, I don't do that. I don't mind talking to you if you're updating me about something that happened. We're doing spell working, like how the spell's going. But even with that, and I say this in the consultation, if you buy a spell and you want to do a reading on it just to see how everything's changed, that is a separate service. Why? Because I keep my spell work very reasonable. I do. Compared to so many other people, my spell work is so reasonable. So therefore, you're not going to get all these extra things. Like, no, I'm not going to pay out of pocket for something I'm doing for you. It's yes, it's a caring business, but it's a spiritual based business. And like I said on other videos, know your worth and don't let people make you feel bad. There are people that try to make me feel bad for what I charge. I don't feel bad. There's people that charge more, there's people that charge less, and that's fine. I charge what sits right with my spirits, what my spirit guides have pretty much made me feel to charge, and so on and so forth. Everybody's methods, forms of readings is their own. You don't have to fall into having huge collections of decks in order to be a valid reader. You could literally read with one deck the whole time. I've had so many readers that I know that just read with one deck and that's it. And they're legit readers and they're good. And then I know readers that collect stuff, and that's fine too. You have to do what's right for you, what's right for your economics, and all that stuff. I do buy decks, but I'm going to be honest, when tax season comes, because I'm a small business owner, okay? And yes, I do have costs, like I have to pay, PayPal takes a certain amount of money that I charge you guys. My website, I have takes a certain amount of money, and the scheduling app takes a certain amount of money. And my decks are write-offs for me. I do write them off because this is a business expense, right? So I don't get all my money back, but it is a write-off, okay? Because I do have to pay into my taxes. Where everybody else is excited about getting taxes, I have to pay into my taxes, okay? And I have a great accountant. It has nothing to do with that. It depends how much a person earns a year. After a certain cutoff point with the size of the family that I have, you start to have to pay back into your taxes. So I do pay taxes, all right? That is part of being a small business owner. It sucks. I had to pay into my taxes this year. I was like, it was the most I had to pay so far. And I was like, woo, woo, woo. And believe me, she tried to get as much deductions legally possible, but you can only do but so many deductions, right? Especially legally, because I ain't trying to have the government coming after me. Like, you got to be honest with your ish. But yeah, I had to learn to do boundaries, both with people that will try to contact you when you're sleeping or things like that. There's been times I'm like, hey, I am away with the family. I'm not, and I'll put it on Skype and I'll put it on my channel. And you'll still have people that know that, or that I'll tell kind of like, hey, I'm not answering messages, because some people do have like my phone number and they'll just continue to message you anyways. And that's when I'm like, if you don't stop, I'm gonna have to block you, because some people will actually stalk you, like they don't care. So that's what it's very important to set boundaries. It's very important to set boundaries with clients, people that are friends. That's what, like I said, I rarely tell anybody what I do for a living, and if I do, I make sure to tell them like that doesn't mean you're gonna get a free reading, because I don't do that. Like right from the get go, just like when I had a childcare business, I told people I don't babysit for free. I get paid to take care of people's children, and if you want the same services, you will have to pay. And some people are like, that's messed up. I don't see it as messed up, because you're not gonna take food out of my kid's mouth. You're not gonna take money out of me paying my rent, my light, my electric, and everything else that I need to pay. I have bills to pay just like you do, and so I take this very seriously. And that's another thing that I've learned. I dress just like I make videos. I dress up when I do readings, whether it's a nice T-shirt and some nice slacks, or sometimes I dress up like today that I have like a nice little summer like spring dress kind of thing going on. But I dress up for my readings. I look presentable, because it doesn't matter what my client looks like. They're in the house, if they have their pajamas on, that's fine, because they're the client. But I like to look a certain way because I'm representing my business and my brands, okay? And it's important to look good, to look the best that you can, because that shows people like you have your life together. Because what do I look like giving you spiritual advice, giving you readings, and I have this whole chaotic life going on? Like, that makes no sense. I try to make my background as fun as possible, my area as clean as possible, and try to be in a good headspace. I feel like if you're not in a good headspace, if you are really feeling like you're not going to give an accurate reading, you owe it to that client. And I've done that on rare occasions where I'm like, I have to reschedule, I'm not feeling good. And I'm like, if you want a refund, that's perfectly fine, right? And some people be like, no, I don't want the refund, I want the reading. So then I'll, reschedule it for them, whatever, or I've given refunds. Because I'd rather do that than give you a really crappy reading, and then that's my reputation, and then you're like, oh, was not as good as they said she was, or whatever. Because we all have our off days, and like, we owe it to ourselves and to the people that are paying us for our services. So be honest about that. Like, are you in a space where you can actually read for others? Another thing that I've learned is to balance my work life and my spiritual life. And what that means is, like, I have set hours now. Up to a certain time, I will not answer your messages anymore. Up to a certain time, if you book after a certain set time, I will the next day give you the link and information and all that stuff, so you can schedule your own appointment and all that. Because I have a family and I need to practice self-care. And I cannot be living a life where everything is just readings, readings, readings. I have spirits to attend to. I have a family to attend to. I have myself to attend to. I have my own personal needs, right? And I need to take care of myself, because if I don't take care of me, who's going to take care of me? And on that same note, you know what? I think I'm going to make a separate video for that. Yeah, I'm going to make a separate video for that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to make a separate video for that. All right, guys. So that is it. Because I have an announcement. It's not bad. It's not bad. But I have an announcement. So I think I'm going to, make a separate video for that. And yeah. All right, guys. So that is it for episode 2. What I learned about reading for others. Okay. That's what I've learned. Hopefully this helps anyone who's trying to start a business, who already has a business, and all of that. Much love, much light, much blessings, guys. Bye.